Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to do a little pocket to go on the inside of my steampunk journal, and I was playing around with these envelopes I got at Dollarama, but I also have these really big ones that I got at a thrift store, and I think these will work better. They're not full white, they're a little bit creamy, and I think they will work really well. I want to do something kind of like this. This is kind of my prototype. So the idea is there's a pocket at the top, pocket at the side, pocket here, and then it kind of folds down like this, and then when I glue it on, hopefully that there will also be a pocket here. So that's my idea. So I hope everyone is doing well. If you're Canadian, I hope you had a really good Thanksgiving. I've been kind of MIA a bit because I had company last weekend, and I wanted to do a video before the weekend, but there were just too many other things to do, so it didn't work. I'm going to use this fully as, even though it's a little bit taller, so the folds might be a bit different. Maybe I won't fully use this. The thing is that when I fold it like this, I need enough room. When I fold it down, I did this one kind of freehand. I tried to do it in my embossing folder and it did not work. The die stuck to the envelope, and then when I tried to pull it off, it ripped the outer edge of the envelope, and it was just kind of a bit of a mess. So the biggest thing is that I want to have it so that I can get a window in, like so, and then this flap will come down and cover the window. But it needs to be, this flap has to have enough space. Sorry, thinking. Can't think and fold at the same time, apparently. I will cut this with my little tiny baby Fiskars, and the envelope is so tall it won't, you can see it won't fit in. So I have to get the fold correct and then put it in and hope it works. It did with the Dollar Tree ones, but the Dollar Tree envelopes are pretty thin. You can totally use them. They will work perfectly fine. So, and then I cut the outside edge of the pocket off, not the inside edge, so that when I make this into a pocket, it's on the outer edge, not on the inner edge. It would be a little bit difficult to get something in and out of a pocket on this side because it would butt up against the spine. So having done that, I will just make a little mark here, like so, because that's the width that I need to go in here. And if I'm completely off frame, I'm sorry. It's been a week. It's like you need to learn everything all over again every single time you do this. Hopefully this isn't too noisy. And look at all these fun little bits that we have left over that we could do other things with, potentially. It's a nice weight. Be really cool. Okay, so the next thing I need to do is, let's just ignore that I got that kind of a little munchy there. The next thing I need to do is cut this off so that this top edge becomes the pocket. And I'm just going to cut a little tiny sliver off there. And for anybody that doesn't like that noise, I apologize. Not in advance, because I didn't warn you in advance. So I'm a bit fussy. So I am going to get my little tiny baby ruler, and I am going to put a little line at the 1/2 inch mark in a couple of places along this side so that I'm exactly a 1/2 inch from the outer edge. And then I'm also going to do it at the bottom so that I'm a 1/2 inch from the bottom edge. And then because my die didn't work, what I'm going to use is the outer edge of my die, not the inner edge. And I think, let's put another notch, or notch. This is not a notch. I'm going to put a little line, maybe more about there, and erase that one because that's not in the right place anyway. So then I'm just going to draw around the outer edge of this little die and hope that I don't move it too much as I go around the outer edge. Like that. Moved. And all over everywhere it's moving. All right, so that's pretty close. So now I'm just going to cut this out. So this little bit of acetate here is from PET rolls, and I think I can use it for the inside of this window. It's exactly tight fit, very, very tight fit, but I think it should be fine. I'm all about reusing things. I'm also going to keep my die out on my desk because I'm going to need it again. I'm going to cover this envelope, and I want to be able to cut another 1/2 inch window and whatever I put it on top of the front of the window, similar to this. And I'm going to be smarter. Having done a prototype, I know what I did wrong with that, so I'm going to try to rectify some of the things that I did incorrectly. I think other people have said this. I find that the best glue for gluing on acetate is Bearly Arts. I like it. Well, I've never used art glitter glue, so I don't know how it would compare. But for the glues that I use, this is the best. And I will actually try to get it close enough to this that I'm not making a big mess like I just did. I need to be close enough to the window to catch that edge, but not so close that it gets all over the acetate, which could be a thing because I don't have a lot of acetate at the edges. If you watch Camellia Craft Designs, she has a really good tip for putting acetate windows on, and that is to move your glue outer, like towards the outside of whatever it is you're doing rather than inside, so that if there's glue seepage, it goes that way, not that way, so it doesn't get on your window. Hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, watch her channel because she explains things really well. Alright, so having done that, I'm going to try to make sure that's dry enough. Yeah. Look at how cute that is already. So, I want to put something here, but I don't want it to go... It should just cover this little rectangle. I want to cover here, then I want to cover this flap here, and then this flap. So something around here, in here, one big one here so that I've got one large image. So I'm going to start, I printed a bunch of stuff on vellum because I don't want this pocket to get too heavy. And I think if I use regular paper, or even copy paper, is going to make this excessively heavy. My prototype, this one here, is done with stuff I did on my gel plate, printed on rice paper, and rice paper has a similar weight to copy paper, and I love how it turned out. It's got, like, it doesn't feel like the rice paper added any kind of heaviness to this little envelope, and it's really nice and thin. So that's my goal when I'm done with this, is that it will have that kind of thinness. I've printed my images on vellum on my laser printer, so it's got that one edge that's not perfect. And I printed it on my laser printer because for some reason it doesn't seem to go through my inkjet, and that could just be me and my settings. Not really sure, because, well, I just did that. All right, so let's put this fold in there. Like that. Yes, that's still in the same place. And I think what I'm going to do is use my ruler and just tear off this excess, like so. Okay. No, I think that is going to adhere. As long as I don't poke at it before it's dry. It may take a little bit longer to dry than art glitter glue or Bearly Arts. I found when I did that tag, it dried pretty much instantly. So it will be interesting to see. I think I'm going to, there's a little tiny bit of a notch here. So I'm just going to pull this vellum back where it was on that. Like so. And just make sure that this is well and truly stuck. I'm going to do the next two sections with my art glitter just because the glue comes out at a normal rate instead of like it's trying to pretend it's a turtle or a snail or one of those other things that's really super slow. Sounding like there's something under there, which is weird. One of the reasons is I'm doing this is to make sure that there are no wrinkles kind of as we go. And apparently I can't glue straight because it's coming off over on the edge over here, but I'll trim that after. This center section with the art glitter glue has more wrinkling. Very interesting. Okay, so now what I'll do is I'll trim this off here, trying to keep that even, and I might keep this little tiny bit of vellum. You never know. There. Oh, isn't that pretty? So let's make sure so I'm going to use my little baby ruler and an X-Acto knife and just trim this little bit of vellum off that's excess, like that. And once it's all dried and glued down, I will probably do a little bit more trimming up, just so everything is exactly even. Or you could do it right now like this. Yeah. You could do it right now like that. Also rip to the vellum. Alright. Or you could not do it while it's wet, and then it won't rip. So the next thing I want to do is put something behind that window. So I have, I tend to do this all the time. I overprint. So I have this one, and then I have, this one's from Rach and Bella, from their Woodland Wanderings. And that could be interesting. Like so. Or could do like that. There's a little bit of like the damage from my printer, but that's below. The only thing I don't like about that is that big bar from the taller mushroom. So I don't think I'll use that. I don't mind that. But it could be a bit boring. And then I have this, which just has like random images, and I think because the front has this round thing that could be interesting. It's going to be covered by this flap here. Oh, maybe that's where we could put the Reach and Bella one. Also, this is probably going to be covered by a tag, so it's not quite as important. Okay, I found this in my stash of papers. It's not vellum, but I think that on there like that. Let's try to get on frame. So I think that this would look so cool like that, because it's kind of got the continuation of the floral. It's got like the circles, it's grungy, and I just full on really like that. This is just copy paper, so it's not going to add a super amount of extra weight. It will be more bulky than the vellum, but it's not going to be as bad as if you put like cardstock or something on there. Just trimming off that little bit of white at the edge. And hopefully more or less straight. No, not even close. Even when I have a ruler, I can't cut a straight line. That might be better. So, bring my... Oh, there's one other thing I need to do, but not yet. Okay, so this is going to come over the top like this, so this will be the top edge, like so. Boom. And I really like how the, that comes like right at the edge of that, just absolutely perfectly. Is that, yeah, hey, I'm on frame still. It's a miracle. Move that up a little bit, just so that I can see where the line is on the bottom of this piece of paper. Move that over just a touch so that this is not too small. And that's even. And try to cut a straight line. You could tear that if you prefer torn edges. That's not very directional. That's not very directional. So I'm just going to glue that all the way down on the flap and then trim after. Because I think that this bit here can, like that is the way that, yeah. Okay, so now we have the beginning of a pocket. Oh, I love that. Oh, I love that. So open it up. You've got a bit of grunge here. Open it up. You've got some more grunge there. So now I need to cover here and glue edges and glue it on, and we have a pocket. So I think this one, because I'm cutting part of it out, I'm not as concerned about what's on there. I could do that eye. That could be weird. Would that be too creepy? I wonder if that would be too creepy. I don't like these pencil weirdest things. Okay, I think I'm gonna go with that. Okay, it didn't tear straight at all, so that's no longer big enough. As you can see, like it won't fit. So that's too small. So let's try going that way. I also need to put something on the inside. So what I do, oh, hey, we could put, because it's torn, it doesn't make that much difference. Yeah, that'll work. It'll definitely work. I can even put it that way. Oh, I like that. Yes, okay. See, there are no accidents. Or maybe there are accidents, but they all work out in the end anyway. So I'm going to use the fold lines as my indicators for... Can you hear my cat? He is like so chatty right now. He's been asleep in my bed all day. And now he's like full on up and not sure what he wants. Other than to let me know he exists. I had this like momentary like, oh my gosh, is that like in the wrong spot? But it's fine. It's exactly where it needs to be. That's good. So, okay, so I think what I'm going to do is use this one from the Rach and Bella kit, from the Woodland Wanderings, the one with the big mushroom on it. So the mushroom part is not going to work, but this one, the one that's got the little pretty flowers, I think that that would work quite nicely because you've got a little bit of interest to it. So I can either do it so that this little bit of woodishness comes up the edge, but this is the part that has a little bit of damage on from my printer on it. It doesn't seem to be as bad anymore as it had been when it first started. It's not throwing toner all over everywhere. But I also really like this side with a little bit of grungy, like greenish, almost like burlap, and the bit of writing. And all of this is going to be cut out, so it doesn't really matter which section I use that much. I would like some of the color and some of the writing. I think that would be really good if I could get that. And also, I really like that. Like that. So I think I'm going to do that. This part I have to be very careful that it doesn't like move on me. And you notice I didn't tear down my paper. That's because I'll trim it after I glue it. Cool, I can see the line. I wasn't sure if I'd be able to see the line. So I'm going to cut this out. I think that is the prettiest little piece of vellum. I put the tiniest little poke in there so I could use as much of that as I could somewhere else. Like, look at how cool that looks. I think that's just fabulous. So now what I can do is move this out of the way, and I'm going to open this up again the same way I did when I was doing the other bits. I will glue all the little pieces together once everything is on. I'm doing it this way mostly so that I make sure that I don't put bits where I don't want it and then glue the wrong pocket in the wrong place. And also I found when I did my prototype that I wound up with pieces too small because I didn't factor in, I don't know, gluey bits, shall we say. I just need to make sure that I put this on what I would say is right side up. If you were concerned about a little bit of white showing in here, by all means ink. We've already determined I'm not much of an inker, but that is an instance where you could come in and put in, like, I don't know, vintage photo, or probably I would put in something like a moss color or something more like that, just because of the color of what's on here currently. All right, so try to make sure that this is really super flat. And I'm just gonna trim this. I discovered something off camera. Put very little pressure on vellum if you're using an X-Acto knife to cut it. It actually, because it's so fine, you need virtually no pressure, not like normal copy paper. This one's a bit trickier to trim because of the fold. And if you trim with an X-Acto knife, be really, really careful that you don't trim your fold off, because otherwise you haven't got what you wanted. And then that tiny little bit. hopefully I got all of that. Oh, that is so, sorry, I don't mean to get so overly excited there. That is really cool. I do have a bit of white showing here on this edge on the corner, so I could come in with a little bit of washi tape, like could use like something like that. Yes, 100% something like that. And that works on both sides too. Cool beans. So now I need to glue here so that that becomes a top pocket. So sorry about my arm if it's in the way. So glue here. Oh, I don't like that. Just a minute, I'm gonna cover that because I don't like this little ring thing because it shows in the window. So I have a little mushroom. So yeah, that works. So the ring still shows, but it doesn't look nearly as obvious. I like that better. So then I want this to be a pocket, so I'm just going to leave that without doing anything. And then I want that to be a pocket, so I'm going to glue all of this. So now what we have is a little pocket. So I think I do, oh, that was the thing that I had figured out last time, is I need something to go here as well. So I pulled the glue up on here before it was dry because I need to put something in that, in here, kind of like so. And I think just make sure I'm on frame. There are two reasons I want to do it this way. The edge of the pocket will change the size once this side is glued down, but I want all of that flap closed. So if I did it after I glued it down, it doesn't come all the way to the edge like it's supposed to. I discovered that in my prototype, and then I tried to fix it with washi tape, and it didn't fix the way I wanted it to. So now I can come up here and put glue on the edge. And then just trim that off. Like so. Like so. And hopefully like so. I think that's perhaps that came off. All right, now we have a little pockety. Oh, I like this. I really like that. Like really like that at the top. That's so cool. So pocket here, like so, pocket here, and look at how thin that is. I'm gonna give it a little burnish with my bone folder just to make sure that that's stuck all the way down. But for an inside front pocket, you have like 1, 2, 3, 4 pockets. But look at how thin that is. Now, if you didn't like these little fiddly bits, you can trim. Well, that's like not even anyway, so I will trim that. And that has a little sticking out, so trim that off. And the whole reason I wanted to do this is because my laser printer was damaged. That has like this big white line. And I could put washi tape over it, but why do that when you can put an envelope? So I'm going to glue 3 sides here and along the bottom, which again, I can see that vellum isn't very even. Just one sec. Might have been even, I just hadn't trimmed it all the way off. And then here. And along here. Boom. Now, another thing that you could do at this point in time is that you could use like bull clips to hold your pocket in place while it dries. But art glitter glue and Bearly Art dry pretty quickly, so you probably won't need to. This is far enough in, like this is the same edge as the edge of that end paper, so it won't bind. It shouldn't bind with that first signature. I hope anyway. But that's pretty fun. And it opens all the way up. And I did this like this so I don't have to decorate it, because this is like a decoration. The vellum will crack and your ink will come off your vellum. I don't know how it works if you do it on an inkjet, whether you'd get these funny little white lines, but with a laser printer you always get these little white lines when on vellum when you fold vellum. That's the only thing about vellum. I might put some decoration on this, like a bird or something like that, or labels, just to add some interest to that. But I think that works pretty well. So until next time, I hope you have a really crafty evening. Goodbye.